Guys, hi. Welcome to this video and welcome to our YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about FE, that is abbreviation for Fundamentals of Engineering. And guys, we hope and we assume that since you are here, you know little or something about FE exam. So I'm going to give you the brief idea about what we are going to talk in this video, and the things is we are not going to talk about or going to show you how to do different numerical problems and stuff. We are just going to talk you about what are the different aspect administrative things, what should you take to exam, what should you read, how long should you read, and when should you take the exam, and different aspects of fundamentals of engineering. So guys, enjoy the video. So guys, now why should you write FE? So the question here is, why is FE important? So what happened is, when you graduate from your school with a degree, then you started searching for different kind of jobs. So what happened when you apply for the jobs, uh, you see the different requirement. One of them is the degree, for sure, that's obvious, but the many of the companies want you to write fundamentals of engineering exam. So at the bottom of the list, they want in an employee, they either write FE is required or preferable. So basically it's very important to get a job, it polishes your resume and different kind of stuff. But what happens when you write a FE, your employer thinks you as a serious guy. Why? Because it takes time to write FE. You have to prepare for months, at least a month, and you have to appear in an exam that lasts for like 6 hours, and like nobody does that for nothing. It's, you should be a serious guy to do that. And the next thing is, for a professional engineer, you can be a professional engineer once you pass the PE, right? That's a different game down the road, but that happened when you write FE. When you pass the FE, acquire certain years of experience, then you can write the PE, right? So what the conclusion is, it is your first step to be the professional engineer. The next thing is, you can polish your resume, you can stand out as a serious guy, you can get a job. So basically these things is very important. So FE is really a big deal, guys. So the next question is, when is the right time to write FE? So uh, what you have to know is, the basic criteria to write the FE is, you should have the bachelor degree from Abbott accredited school in engineering to get the FE license. But that doesn't mean you cannot write FE before getting graduated. So the basic idea is, what the organization that host the exam say is, you can write the FE exam if you have completed the first 2 years in Abbott accredited school. So but the issue here is, by the topics covered in FE exam, for instance, for civil engineering students, the topics covers like almost everything from your freshman year to senior, right? So what happened is, what I personally think is, the right time to give the FE exam is 2 or 3 months before you graduate, because in that time, like, almost every topics are covered, and you have a big picture of the basic idea about engineering. So the right time is that. But one should always remember that is the right time. So that is like the ideal time. But if you are doing work somewhere after you graduate, after you have a bachelor degree, but you haven't even write FE, then you can write FE now also. Even you can write FE during your masters, or even after PhD also. So the right time is during the senior year in an undergrad course. But you can always write FE if you have a bachelor degree from Abbott accredited school. uh, there is a saying like, it's always right later than never, right? So it's better to write FE. So, guys, looks like there is a small problem with international students, because for many of the international students, what happened, what is their story is they did their BS, BE, or their undergrad from some universities in their country, but those universities were not EVET accredited. So what happened? So you might be thinking, won't they get the license? No, the true story is different. So once you come to United States or Canada, just make sure your school is EVET accredited. So what happened, if you do masters or PhD from EVET accredited school, you don't have to worry about that. You will get a license if you pass the exam, but your master's degree and PhD degree should be from EVET accredited. So what happened, you do your undergrad from not an EVET accredited school, you come to United States, you join an EVET accredited school, you can write an FE exam. You don't have to graduate from that school, from that EVET accredited school, to write an exam. But you can write the exam, pass the exam. But once you get graduated from your master's or PhD course, you can apply for the license. You will go get it. Not a big deal, guys. Guys, now we are going to talk about the duration of the exam. So this exam is not like your typical midterm or final exam. It's a long exam. It will take you like the whole day, because the exam will take about 6 hours, but the effective time of the exam is like 5 hour 20 minutes. So what happening here is, they will ask you, the total number of question will be 110. So the first half of the exam, that covers the basic topics or the general topics for different branches of engineering, that will cover like 55 question, and that will be the first half of the exam. And the second half will be specific for, like, if it is a civil engineering, if it is a mechanical engineering, or the what I mean is the second half will be the specific for each branch of engineering. So 110 questions, two halves, and there will be a break. The break will be of 25 minutes. It's not a mandatory break, but I guess, to my suggestion, it is better to take the break, take the rest, drink some cold water, eat your snacks. It will be better, guys. So 110 questions, 5 hour 20 minutes. If you do the simple math, you will get 3 minutes, not a little less than 3 minutes, but you will get at least 3 minutes for each question. The question will not be that difficult. Simple things. So guys, the basic idea is, it's a long exam. It will take your day. Prepare well. So guys, now we are going to talk about the format of the exam, or the nature of the question, whatever question they will be asking. Like, most of the question will be, so guys, now we want to talk something about, like, what is the format of the exam, what are the nature of the questions. So uh, the nature of the question is the traditional multiple choice question. So they pose you the question, they will give you the four option, you have to tick the best one. That's all. 99% of the question will be in that format. But uh, past maybe like 3 or 4 months back, they changed the format a little bit. You don't have to worry about that, because they haven't changed it a much, they have changed it a little bit. So now they are also going to ask you some drag and drop type of question. So what happen is, you have to drag something from the picture or illustration they give you to your answer, or sometimes you have to punch the number directly, they don't give you the option. But these questions, to my experience, will not be like more than 5 or 6 out of 110. So the basic format is multiple choice question, but there will be some question of drag and drop type, or punching the numbers directly without the option, but you don't have to worry about that too much. So guys, now we are going to talk about different topics that you should be expecting once you appear in the exam. So let me show you a PDF that show the different topics. This is the PDF. So for instance, there are like fundamentals of engineering exam for civil, mechanical, electrical, general, environmental, lot. But for instance now, uh, just for the sake of making you understand, we are taking civil as an example. You can see uh, it covers basically everything from your freshman year to senior year, right? You can see probability, computational tools, ethics, engineering, a lot, and so on, blah blah blah. But what the basic deal is, you don't have to get intimidated through all these topics. You don't have to go deep down to each topics. You don't have to teach yourself some fancier things in these topics. Just the bigger picture is, you have to know the basics. You have to scratch each topics. You should know the basics of engineering. That is what they are expecting you from you. And at the right side you can see the number of questions that you can be expecting. So the least number of questions from mathematics is 7 and the most is 11. So if you go this way, you can see on the right side, you can see the number of range of number of question you should be expecting in the exam, and the total number of question will be 110, and this covers almost everything for the civil engineering. So these are the different topics. So, guys, now we are going to talk about the split screen nature of the exam. So, it's a computer-based exam. By now, you have to know that it's a computer-based exam. So, once you are there to write the exam, what happens is you are in front of the monitor, and it's a big monitor. They split the monitor into two parts. The left part is a reference manual. That is a book, a PDF, or e-text that contains every equation, formulas, data, table, graph, mnemonics, whatever you tell, that reference manual has it. And the right part of the screen is where you write your answer, or where you give your write the text. So the left part of the screen is the reference manual, where you can go and look. It's like a PDF. You can search things, you can search anything that is contained in a reference manual. And the right part of the exam, sorry, the right part of the monitor is question and answers. So this is how the split screen system in the exam works. Notice that you can't take the hard copy of the reference manual. They will provide it for you. You don't have to take that. It's a thing some student might do because they are told you can take the reference manual. That doesn't mean you have to take it. They will give it for you. So guys, now we are going to talk about what are the things that you should take to the exam. So the first thing first, the first thing is your ID card. So uh, the person over there who are going to proctor your exam should make sure that you are you. So what happened, they ask for your ID card. So the first so the most important ID card that you can take is the driver license. So if you don't have driver license, you can take anything that the federal government or the government has issued. So make sure you take your ID card, right? So the next big thing is the calculator. Believe me guys, it is probably this is the biggest thing, because uh, if you know which calculator to take and how to use that calculator properly to its like fullest extent, then you can save a lot of time, because 90% of the problem in the statistics can be easily solved from the calculator. The solving equation, many things you can do through the calculator. And the one most important thing about this thing is, if you go to the NCES, those are the guys who take your exam. For your information, they have the calculator policy, right? So these are the calculators you can take to the exam. These calculators are eligible to the exam. So you cannot take the programmable calculator. That is what they want to make this sure, right? So you can see the different brands of calculator. What I took was Casio FX115. So you can see the calculator what I took. This was the calculator I took. So basically guys, so this is the calculator. So next big thing you have to take, but this is not like you have to take, it depends on you. is the water and snacks you have to drink and eat during your break, because it's a long, tedious, tiresome exam. So once you are done with the first half of the exam, you want to take the rest. And the better way to take the rest is take a long breath, drink cold water, have some snacks. So guys, now I'm going to talk about how to use the calculator to its fullest or fullest potential, because calculator is a very big deal in exam. Through the calculator, you can do a lot in statistics. For instance, you name it, you can directly calculate the mean, median, standard deviation of datas, right? You can calculate the inverse of a matrix, that is in the order of 3 by 3, 3 by 3 through that calculator. If you do it with the hand, it will take a lot of time. You can find the inverse of a matrix, right? So you can add two imaginary numbers, you can multiply them, you can divide one by another, and it will just spit out the answer, right, with a simple punch. And the next thing is you can solve the simultaneous equation, you can solve the different other type of equation using the calculator. So calculator is really a big asset here. So in this format of the exam, where time is limited, time is very limited, if you can save the time, it's really a big deal. So guys, you have to know how to use your calculator. So you can go to our videos. We have a lot of things, we have taught a lot of things about how to use the calculator, especially for FE exam. If you see that video, you will see how you can use the calculator to its fullest potential. So calculator, know how of the calculator is really a big deal. So guys, now we are going to talk about different resources, different books you should be using to prepare for the exams, right? So basically I want to categorize them into three different parts. The first one is the reference manual. As you can see, once you make an account in the NCES organization, what happens is they will give you the link to download this book. So this is a reference handbook. So what happens is, in computer based testing, on the left half of the screen you will be provided this exact PDF. So this is the book that contain all the equation, all the graphs, all the formulas, anything you have to remember, you don't have to. This book contains all. So the next book is, you can see the review manual, right? So this contain all the theories, right? So for example, you go to geotechnical, you don't know what is porosity, what is void ratio, this book has it, right? So you can read the theory from this book. You can even see like pass the exam guaranteed. Okay, that's something off to say, but like this book contains every theory you need to know while writing the exam. So it's very important to go through this book. So the next book is FE civil practice book. The issue with this book is, once you go through that theory book and once you go through the FE handbook, now it's time to test your knowledge, right? So how far you know. This book contains more than 60 topics, and each topics contain 10 to 15 questions. So for instance, you go into the topics and without any hardness or without any difficulty, you can get all the question right. That means you are good in that topics, right? So what happened if you started doing a particular topics and you even didn't get like 5 out of 15 question right? So the time is, you have to go into the FE review manual again and read the theory, right? So but at the end of the day, how you read is up to you, because there are like a lot of people have a lot of ideas, and it's not for us, it's not up to us to say how you should read, how you should prepare. But these three books are the threshold. This is at the least you should be have, you should read before you write the exam. But more than this you can do, it's up to you, but to my experience, this is enough, I guess. So guys, now we are going to talk about the length of preparation. How long should you prepare before you write the exam? So uh, it depends. It is different for different people because it depends on the various factors. The first thing is how much time do you have? You are busy, you have to give time to your family, you are writing FE, you don't have a lot of time. But uh, you are a student, you just graduated, you want to take 6 month long of day or something, then you have a lot of time. But the issue here is how much you know, how much time do you have, how fast can you digest or sink in the material that you are reading. It depends on a lot of factors, but from my perspective, 2 months 1 hour a day or 1 month 2 hour a day will be enough. At the end of the day, you should at least have finished all those three books we mentioned earlier. If you know these three books, um, then you can write the exam. But how far you should prepare, how long should you prepare, it totally depends on you. So now, guys, we are going to talk about how to take the test date. So to take the test date, you should create an account. So to create an account, what happen is uh, the organization that takes your exam is NCES. That is uh, the organization that takes your exam. So you have to go to nces.org and go to my NCES. Then after you go to my NCS, you can go my NCS. Then since you came here for the first time, you should go to create an account, right? So once you go there, they will ask you for different kind of question, your birth date, uh, the school you are attending, your name, your email address, maybe 20 or 30 questions, I don't know. But after you create an account and you pay like $225, you can take the test date. But it is very important to know that you can see the map of the test center once you take the test date, right? Just make sure you take the test center very close to you, because if you take the exam in the morning, so it shouldn't be nuisance to go there. Like one of my friends took the test center 80 miles away from where he lives, so that doesn't make sense, right? So you cannot go 80 miles away to write the test. So just make sure you take the test center closest to you, maybe 5, 10, 15 miles, right? And the next thing is just confirm you took the test date, print it out, and now the countdown starts, right? So prepare for the exam once you take the test. So guys, now I'm going to talk about the result, what happened once you write the exam. So once you write the exam, the NCS will take like 7 to 10 business days to publish your result. So how do you know that? So once they publish your result, they will send you a notification on your email, the same email that you provide in your NCS account, right? So through that, they will give you the link, or you can go to your NCS account and go inside it and check your result, right? So once you pass the exam, they will give you a link. That link is a very favorable link. So what happen if you copy that link and give it to someone who needs to know you have an FE? For instance, you can post that link in your LinkedIn account and show the people that you have an FE license, right? So 7 to 10 business days, they will send you an email, you will get the result. That's all. So guys, now we are going to talk about like what is the passing criteria. So how do you know you can pass the exam, or like how much should you score to pass the exam? So what happened here is this is the most ambiguous topics, because the NCES hasn't explicitly told you this is the percentage of question you should get correct, or nobody says you this is the amount of right answer you should have. The only catch is the NCES says like they are going to compare you with the uh, test takers, and they are going to compare your grade with the average test taker grade, and will judge like you pass the exam or not. So it's a kind of ambiguous topics, but the myth around here is you should get at least 70% of the question right to pass the exam. But last but not the least, I don't know I'm correct or not, because NCES hasn't explicitly told anything about the passing criteria. So guys, if you do well in the exam, you will definitely pass. It's not a big deal. Just prepare for the exam rightly, you will pass the exam. So at the last, I want to wish you all the best of luck for all the test takers. I know you will do best. Thank you so much for watching our video. Please don't hesitate to like and subscribe and comment below.